Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade Salah, and today we are going to be talking about luck and success. Recently, I was hanging out with two of my friends. I will call them T-Boy and Richard. And we're just talking in general about the things that we're doing, and we all seem to be doing pretty okay. But compared to myself and T-Boy, Richard is not our mate. Richard's money is long. While we're still talking, T-Boy said to Richard and was like, Richard, you're really lucky that you even married into a wealthy family because Richard's wife is actually from a very wealthy family. And this simple statement really rubbed Richard the wrong way and was like, what do you mean I'm lucky? I worked really hard to get to where I am today. Are you trying to say that I'm spending my wife's family's money and this and that and that and that? And this just degenerated into this debate about luck and success. And Richard was insisting that it was his hard work that has gotten him to where he is today. But T-Boy is like, but you're really lucky. Like, you can't deny the fact that, it is your sheer luck that has also gotten you to this place. And I was just there in the middle. So just a brief background about Richard. Richard was born in America and his parents were fairly wealthy. So obviously they could afford to travel down to America to give birth to him. So he was born an American citizen and had a blue passport from the time he was born. They moved back to Nigeria after giving birth to him, but his parents were wealthy enough to send him to private, primary and secondary school. And when he was done with his secondary school, they sent him over to the UK to an Ivy League school to study. So one day when Richard was in his year 2 in the university, he was a bit stressed out with schoolwork and it was a Friday. And it was like, you know what? I just want to go to Greece for a weekend. And then he went to Greece, and it was while he was there that he met his now wife, who is the daughter of a top politician in Nigeria. Now, between the time they started to date and the time they got married, his wife's father became the governor of his state. Even after his wife's father was done being governor for 8 years in his state, he's gone on to become a top government official in Nigeria. If you're Nigerian, you know the kind of money that I'm talking about, right? So after Richard and his wife got married, he started an IT company, but that IT company got a lot of IT contracts from the government. And this was obviously influenced by his father-in-law. So there I was just listening to T-Boy and Richard really debate, about luck and hard work and the role that is played in Richard's success, so to speak. And for me, I felt like, they were both right in the sense that there was an element of luck and then there's an element of hard work as well. And I know that for a lot of high achievers and people that have achieved a lot, it's very hard for them to admit the role that luck has played in some of the successes they have in their life. It seems that when we admit the role luck has played in our success, it makes us feel undeserving, right? Or that we didn't put in the work, and it's hard for a lot of people to admit that. And for some other people, they may feel like, oh, if this life in itself is rigged from the beginning and it's only people that have certain privileges that are going to succeed in life, then why even bother trying? Personally, I believe there are different types of luck. I remember reading this blog post by a man called Mark Anderson, and he talked about 4 different types of luck. The first one being blind luck. This is the kind of luck that is purely accidental. You as an individual have absolutely no control over it. It's the type of luck that they will say, thank your stars, because it's like being born into an extremely wealthy family or being born as a male child in an environment where more opportunities are given to male children, or being born in a certain socio-economic climate, like having an American passport or, a Japanese passport, a very strong passport that allows you to be able to, pick yourself up and say, hey, I want to go to Greece for the weekend and not have to think about applying for a visa. You think about this kind of luck, and that is where a lot of people really concentrate on when they're thinking about how lucky people are. Those kind of luck where they don't have any control over. So the second type of luck he talked about is called motion. Now, this is the kind of luck that happens when you're just doing something, like a basic activity that you would normally do. In the case of Richard, for example, he was just randomly going to Greece to cool off, not necessarily to go and find a wife, or let alone find a wife from an extremely wealthy family. It was just part of, you know what, I'm going to cool off. And one could think about what could have happened if he didn't decide to go to Greece on that specific day. Would he have met his wife? Why Greece of all places, right? Chances are, if Richard didn't decide to go to Greece on that specific day, he might not have met his wife and his life might have turned out very differently. This is the kind of luck that happens when, you're just, living your life and just doing stuff. I guess this is the kind of luck that a man called Catherine was trying to describe when he said, keep on going and chances are you will stumble on something, perhaps when you're least expecting it. I have never heard of anyone stumbling on something sitting down. And for me, this is very profound. It just means that you continue to live your life, and there are times that, the stars will collide and life will happen for good, and then you will get that, break that you're looking for and that good luck, that may eventually lead you to your success. Another type of luck that Mark talked about is the luck of recognizing good fortune. And there are times that people are presented with situations, and while a lot of people might just overlook that situation, some people might see it as an opportunity, take advantage of it, and then they would have good success just from taking advantage of that. And then you're wondering, how come other people overlooked this opportunity and only this one individual saw the opportunity in this thing? And I think that this gift of foresight usually comes from like our experiences, our backgrounds, our skill sets, and things that, we've done over time. This is the kind of luck that people talk about when they say opportunity meets preparation, because, at the time you're gathering the skills and the experiences and, some things that are happening to you in life, you might actually not know when you're going to be able to use it. And then suddenly, someday, some faint clue comes along, and then you see a potential opportunity in something because of everything that you've acquired over time, your experiences, your skills, your knowledge. And other people might see something really impossible or might not even recognize that there's anything there at all. But because you have this unique perspective, you're the only one that is able to recognize the potential in this little clue that is available, and then you take advantage of it, and then you become successful at it. And everyone now goes, oh, this person is just lucky. Last type of luck that Mark talked about is called directed motion. Now, we talked about motion earlier, which is a bit random, random motion, random activities that you're doing in your day-to-day that just collided with life, and then good luck happened to you. Now, this last one is a deliberate attempt to achieve something. This is the part where you deliberately go after your dreams and your goals, and then if you eventually succeed at it, it may look like you're lucky, but you've taken deliberate steps towards achieving your goal. Let's say, for example, you've been hearing that having a career in tech can actually help you to build wealth or help you to become like a startup founder that can build maybe the next Facebook or next TikTok or the next Google, right? And then you go ahead and deliberately maybe go and learn software development, and then you practice, you're able to maybe either get a job in any of the big tech companies or even go ahead and start your own startup. What people don't see with this directed motion luck is the hard work that goes into that. The time where you are, enrolling yourself in boot camps, going to learn how to code, getting rejected in interviews, building stuffs and failing at them. And it is only when you are successful, when you've done a lot of the work in the background, that people now start to see you as this person is lucky, right? So when a lot of people are talking about hard work and success, this is the type of luck that they're talking about. The one that you are creating for yourself, the one that requires your blood, sweat, and tears to give yourself a better chance that even if you don't have the blind luck or that, random motion luck doesn't happen to you, or that you're not able to recognize an opportunity that was presented to you in the past, but the one that you have control over is a directed motion luck. What does this all mean? I think in Richard's case, he had a combination of all these different types of luck, in the sense that he was born to a wealthy family. He had, an American passport, so he didn't have to think about, getting a visa to go to Greece to travel for a weekend, right? And also the fact that even when he married his wife, and the opportunity to maybe provide some IT services to the government presented itself, whether influenced by his father-in-law or not, the fact that he was able to take on that opportunity and turn it into something good is still some form of luck, but his hard work is there. The skills he has in running a company, in building an IT company as well, there are things that he's had to work hard for, and it's hard to really discount that when you think about it critically. And if you look at a lot of successful people, when they're talking about their hard work and everything, these are some of the things that they're talking about. It's easy for someone to say, oh yeah, their parents were rich, but from what Mark has said in some of the different types of luck that was analyzed earlier, you can tell that there are two types of luck in general. It's the one that you're born with, and the one that you create for yourself. If you look at the habits of successful people, you will see a trend. While they might be lucky to have been presented with some opportunities, or to have been born with maybe some things that they didn't have any control over, what you'll see on the other hand is that they've also worked very hard for where they are. They have a bias towards action. They've taken a lot of risks, even when a lot of people might have said, oh, it's not going to work. They've persevered to build the things that they have today. And I understand that sometimes when you're working really, really hard and you're not seeing the result, it can be very demoralizing, and you're just wondering why some people are not putting in as much effort as you are, and then it just seems that things are falling into place for them. And even if you're working hard and you're not seeing the result, I don't believe that the alternative is to sit still and just give up on life and just go like, it's not going to work, it's not going to work. I understand that it's really hard to find the strength to get up and continue to move and continue to work hard, especially when you feel like you have nothing to show for it. I would say to you, please don't give up. And in Catherine's words, keep on going, and chances are you will stumble on something, perhaps when you least expect it. I've come to the end of this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.